Happy Sanguinalia, my beautiful hammerheads, and welcome back to another Black Library review, a special edition, kind of. Because it's Sanguinius the Great Angel, the Horus Heresy novella by Wraight. And yeah, it's about Sanguinius, obviously, the Blood Angels, kinda of how Sanguinalia became a thing. And if some people want to believe in Santa, I choose to believe in Sanguinius. So this is pretty interesting because Sanguinius is not the main character, which, well, I believed it would be. The main character is a remembrancer, he's a writer, and his name, everything on him is unimportant. He is a cardboard cutout because I believe it's supposed to be that you, as the reader, are the main character. Because this is a story in which the Blood Angels are in between engagements. There is no fighting as of yet. And we get to learn and to see how the Blood Angels, well, are in between engagements. It's not all training, it's art. What we know of the Blood Angels, basically stitching their own banners, making music, making art pieces, and so on. So for Blood Angel fans, this is a goldmine for you. However, we get to see pretty early on that all of this is a facade. Our remembrancer picks up pretty quickly that everyone is basically wearing a mask. And masks are, of course, a pretty big thing with the Blood Angels. And that not everything is as it's supposed to be. Or that they are showing you something which they aren't. And we know that they are not. So our remembrancer got into trouble because he wrote the truth about something, got censured, and well, now he's with the Blood Angels. And this is on purpose, because his rival, an Imaginist, recommended him to the Blood Angels, and Sanguinius said, "That's my boy," because he wants the truth to come out. Sanguinius, like Korax later in the timeline, tries to eradicate the flaws in the gene seed because red thirst is a thing. Revenant Legion, well, was pretty unhinged when it came to blood sacrifices and or eating, devouring humans for their blood because vampires. Sanguinius believes that after the heresy, his father will help him to get rid of this flaw. So the remembrancer is there to collect everything, write it down, and release it after everything is purged. Which is kinda sad because, well, Sanguinius knows when he dies and what happens to him. So it's pretty unclear if he's a little bit delusional when it comes to this, or if he just ignores the fact that he's going to die. However, all of this is to show you how the Blood Angels and Sanguinius are connected to each other in a way in which the other Primarch books, as far as I've read them, never got into, because the Primarchs are, of course, the nucleus, the primogenitor of the legions. Well, in this one, everything is about Sanguinius. We have a very nice discussion with one of the legionaries. He looks at the remembrancer and says, okay, just imagine this. You are a writer and you get to know the author of a book so perfect that everything you do after that feels as if it's nothing. You are not worth it. However, you are incapable of stopping. You have to do it because that's what you're made to do. And you can't hate him for it. You love him for the things he does, as he is so perfect in it. So this was pretty interesting. Also, we have other examples in which our Remembrancer just spectates fleet movement and everything just flies around Sanguinius in a very natural kind of way. And this is how I imagine the fleets of, well, of course, the Ultramarines, Ferrus Manus' Iron Hands, and yeah, well, pretty much all the organized legions. And we get to see on how the Blood Angels themselves are coping with the Red Thirst, one of which is making art, which is fascinating. We get to learn from Sanguinius' viewpoint how he woke up on Baal. A little bit of foreshadowing probably for the last Siege of Terra novels. This is of course not a spoiler. We know that Sanguinius will die by Horus's hands. But there is one line, sorry for the slight spoiler, in which Sanguinius says, I have the feeling that these wings will be torn from me and they will be given back to the one who gifted them. Interesting. Because now we have a little contradiction. In one of the Siege of Terra novels, we have the passage of that Sanguinius believes that the wings are still a work of the Emperor, that he does not comprehend on how they work, because one day he calculated it, his wings had to be far wider, stronger, well, to lift him and his armor to do all the stunts he does. And in this one, he's pretty much saying that they are things of the warp, even though he does not know what the warp is. I don't know what to do with this. So maybe I'm missing something from the later Horus Heresy novels, which I never read. And yeah, also we get to see the planet Murder from the first Horus Heresy novel. And well, the fighting with the Emperor's children, the Sons of Horus, and the Blood Angels together, and Horus himself with Sanguinius side by side against the Mega Arachnids. And our Remembrancer just spectates the whole thing from a safe distance, and he gets the feeling that Sanguinius knows what happens in the upcoming seconds. He reacts to things before they happen. So also a little bit foreshadowing for the people who don't know Sanguinius as well. But he pretty much confirms it in a discussion with Sanguinius. Another interesting fact, that everyone loves Sanguinius. Everywhere you look, Sanguinius is the one depicted to inspire, well, the human populace. But it's Horus who got promoted to War Master. Well, of course, he's first among equals, blah blah blah, we all know this, blah blah blah. However, our Remembrancer has the opportunity to again spectate something, and it's the discussion between Horus and Sanguinius, and he just sees that Horus is more human. He's more likable. Also pretty fascinating. And Yactum Cruz has a comeback, which is funny. But the mask thing, and that Horus was promoted to be the War Master and not Sanguinius, for me is kinda a hint that Imperium Secundus, so the Unremembered Empire, was doomed to fail from the get-go. Maybe I'm interpreting too much into it. However, it had a little bit of a feeling that it has something to do with Imperium Secundus, even though it wasn't even a thing yet, because, of course, the heresy hasn't even started then. So I mean, in the absence of Horus, it would be Sanguinius as War Master, probably. So this is, as a novella, of course, not a long novel. There are many interesting things in it. However, as much as I like Blood Angels, I was captivated in it. My mind never wandered off like in other novels when nothing happens and I have to go back when something happens and like, oh, what happened? However, this feels a little bit not really dry, but more like it should have been either longer or shorter. Shorter to compress everything, but that would be kind of bad because then we would just have the facts in a row, one after another. Probably longer, so we have more time invested with everyone. Because there were some moments in which I thought, okay, maybe this is supposed to be sad, but it really isn't, as really haven't much time to get connected with someone. But yeah, as I've said, even our main character is a cardboard cutout. We are the main character and we get to discover everything, which is nice. I like that. But all in all, this is a 7 out of 10 blood angels resisting the red thirst. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this novella? Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section down below. I am keen to know what you have to say. And while you're down there, do all the YouTube stuff because hitting buttons is fun. If you want to support the channel and you don't know what to say, just write Sanguinius in the comments. Have a great Sanguinalia, my friend. I hope you have a great hobby time. You get the gift of hobby. Please stay fantastic, stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!